If there was one standout coaster manufacturer in the early 90s who defined roller coasters for UK parks, it would probably have been Vekoma, you know, until those other guys came along, of course. So with the pirate area now coming to completion, it needs a headline attraction to round it all off. Something to put the park on the map as a truly groundbreaking park. And whilst my American friends fight over whether it's Arrow or Vekoma, I'm going to be fighting to make this one look good. Hello you guys, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2, welcome back to Farmington Fields, where if this is your first time, firstly welcome aboard the fun bus, thank you for coming along for the ride. We are building a theme park out of a farm that was sold on to a theme park operator, and we are now turning it into something akin to Alton Towers. Hello Balloon. And for the last episode, this is what we did here. It's the pirate area, and I absolutely love it. It's percolated whilst I've been away, and I love it. Like, I've come back and yes. I do need to start this episode, though, with a correction. Last time I said that the first lighthouse inspiration thing came from either Wix or Dutchy. It wasn't. It was Yoda. I mean, all three are incredible builders, so you can forgive me for thinking that it was somebody else, but I just need to correct that. Thank you for pointing that out in the comments last week. This is what we're doing this week. Then, I say week. The episodes aren't coming out weekly, are they? But whatever. Well, it's habit. Week. It's a coaster. And it's a Vekoma coaster. Remember, we're in the UK, so we would have had Vekoma here, not Arrow, although they are pretty much the same design, let's be honest, but whatever. So I have followed the principles, by the way, of their profiling, the whole circles and straight lines, but Smooth comes along and has other ideas. You'll see. And this is very Dragonfire inspired, because I think that coaster was an absolute ledge, even though it was not the best coaster that Arrow or Vekoma Arrow ever did. Anyway, station comes out into the lift hill, happy days, and then it comes into Dragonfire, into a corkscrew, into a half loop, straight down, into an airtime hill, into a Cobra roll, which is just the in-game Cobra roll. I'm not wasting my time doing custom Cobra rolls and stuff, absolutely not. Into a mid-course brake run, and then into a corkscrew, into like an overbank turnaround, dives over the top of the railway line, into another corkscrew, in fact the final corkscrew, underneath, and then into the final brake run with the maintenance areas and stuff living at the back of the station. So that's the layout. I'm going to continue the pirate theme, and I have an idea for a building. So this is what I'm going for. If I go to the Align Scenery and grab my 1 meter trusty wall, there we go. This is the kind of shape that I'm going to go for this building. This kind of piratey style manor house shape, and then I'm going to do the same, so it's going to be symmetrical, maybe like that. I have put the entrance and exit in, and they're going to be on the same side, I think. And I'm saying that because I haven't decided whether I'm going to bring the pathway underneath the brake run yet, because of course the maintenance area will be here. So for now, the entrance and exit is here. And my initial plan is to bring the exit path down this way into here. And then we're going to have the photo unit that's going to be in this kind of location here, right? So I do want to have another one of the turrets, and I do want this to be more castle-y in nature, which is a word, by the way, castle-like in nature. But I do want another turret, because I kind of want to start framing this area off a little bit. That then means that I'm going to need somewhere to put the queue line, and the queue line, I think, is going to be able to come in this front area here. So it's going to be very Swarm inspired. You're going to see the inspiration for it when the queue line actually goes in. And the reason that I'm doing that, by the way, is because I do actually want to bring a pathway down here and then over the top of this track here in a sort of a bridge, and then using this road to bring this round here, and then probably join up there, right? So, and I'm actually going to do that, there you go, because I think I'm going to do the path in this episode, and we need to start thinking about how we're going to circulate guests and stuff around, and that's going to give us 2 options then, so that's what I'm thinking. So, pirate theme continues. I'm going to go and get that done. I will see you in a minute. Alright, I decided to get rid of that pre-middle part because I started to build and it just started to all come together and I got too far in, missed my exit and carried on driving. So here we are in the middle bit. You're welcome. Have some time back. And this is how it's turning out, and it's actually coming together quite nicely. This is the vibe I wanted to go for, with the expensive house on the cliff face that's kind of built into the cliff face because it's a little bit of a smuggler's cove, but also not a smuggler's cove at the same time. There's going to be a little bit of a market bit down here, and yeah, foliage and whatever I think will make this then come together. And of course it needs a roof. It looks silly at the moment because it doesn't have a roof. But this is what I'm going for. It's that whole Dutch colonial piratey type thing with the slightly Viking, if you like, annex going on. And I've taken away the symmetry of the building as well. When I decided to put the roof on, it just wasn't going to work out. So yeah, I also wanted it to work with the more castle-y aspect of the build. I don't think I'm going to keep it this white. This looks too clean. I think I need to dirty it up ever so slightly. Queue line I'm happy with. I think it actually serves a quite good little shape. I took again queues from Swarm and I was like, how does the queue wrap around? And it kind of does this vibe. I mean, you can trace it back to where it goes and stuff, but ultimately I knew that I wanted the queue to come up into this little rocky area. So I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do, or whether I need to do any kind of banister or anything. I think I probably should, but I'm gonna see how it goes. I probably need to do something similar to this, don't I? Really, let's be honest with that. So this is the vibe I'm going for the building. As I said, it's that Dutch colonial piratey type vibe. I'm mixing up some of the styles. I'm using some of the fairy tale and the Viking windows and stuff. I think it comes together quite nicely. So this whole marble effect, it looks a little bit more expensive than the rest of the pirate area. Then you've got the driftwood stuff all along here with the sorcery wood that's making it all sort of make sense. And as from down here, as I said, it looks actually pretty decent when the trees and stuff are in. I think it's all going to make sense. And of course you're going to come out of the station and it comes into this bit. I just need to find a way of making this make sense. I basically want this to be a bit of a piratey castle type thing, so I do want to put cannons and stuff along inside the wall. So that means we're going to need some kind of flooring along here, and I need to bring it together. I don't quite know how it's going to come together, in the same way that I don't quite know how the piratey bits inside the log flume are going to come together, but it's yeah, it's okay. So I have also just put in some supporting shops here. It feels like this area needed extra support from extra food shops, and there is one other thing that I had also forgotten, and that's toilets. So all I've done is I've just copied across the toilets from elsewhere in the park. Again, it feels like the park would probably use the same consistent design, and I've placed it just outside of the area rather than trying to awkwardly thumb it into the pirate area that's back here. So yeah, I've put those toilets down there. By the way, the fencing for the queue line I love. It's custom, and it is just the sorcery wood, and it's just a design that fell out of my head. And I quite like it. I've ended up doing it in two styles, one that's 4 meters and one that's 2 meters, and in theory I probably should have done an extra 2 meter one with the diagonal the other way, but it's fine. It absolutely works as it is. So maintenance area is the other building that's come together, and I kind of wanted to go for a slightly different style with this one. Again, I wanted this to feel like it was a bit more of an unkempt, almost like outhouse sheddy type thing. Well, that's exactly what it is, right? It's a shed. So I wanted it to feel like that. I don't think it's going to be a flat roof. I think it is going to be a pitched roof, and I think I'm going to be able to use either the scallop or the tiles. So, and I want them to be coloured red because I want them to fit into this area, right? I need some kind of cohesion going on. But ultimately, this is where the trains and stuff would be stored. Capacity to store 2 trains. The third train would always be either on the transfer track here or in the station, ready for maintenance and stuff. So one train operation is of a minimum. So I have then also just fenced off the area, put in the transfer tracks and stuff. I have just copied that across from the raid, from the Blitz coaster, because they are actually very similar. I just need to tidy it up actually, because that's poking through the track and it shouldn't be. So actually, let's do that now. Let's do that right now. Live fixing. There you go, done. And then I have just thought about how I'm going to connect it up to the maintenance, or connect the maintenance up to the actual park pathways, and I think this is probably your best bet. We've already got a road here that we can utilize, so I'm just going to put in a fence here, put in the garage doors and stuff, and then call it done. So the actual ride area itself is the other place where there have been changes. So I've just put in the pathway along along here, and I think I just need to connect it up to this side. I have then done some work with the train line, so the train line is now pretty much where I want it to be, and I have started to fence off the important parts of the ride so you can't get in. I haven't done them all. I haven't done this bit yet, and that's because I am still deciding whether I want rockwork or retaining walls and stuff in here, and that's going to influence the type of fencing and stuff that I'm using. But I have just started to put this along here because I have had to dig down into this hill to make this thing a little bit like Nemesis does. I think I want to have some kind of head chopper rockwork here rather than it being open. It feels like we would need to make that kind of effort, or some kind of piratey thing to go through. I haven't quite decided. As I said, I need to play out the theme and see what falls out of my head, but that's ultimately what I'm going for here. Then down this way I've done exactly the same, but this time, because it's the Cobra roll, I've had to dig down into two places, which then means that this needed some kind of retaining wall because it was the train that goes through. So taking inspiration actually from the Gardaland train and how that weaves through stuff like Raptor and whatever. So there is a precedent that's been set for this. They wouldn't necessarily like move the train completely, but I quite like this. I quite like how this is. You know, this double fencing as well is taken directly from Gardaland. It's the idea of the fence that was already here, and then a don't die fence that's not too in your face. Guests wouldn't be traversing this part of the park anyway, so you wouldn't necessarily need it like it was a publicly accessible area. I think I'm going to do rock work and stuff along here. It needs bringing to life. I can't just leave it like that because it does look a little bit silly. But I do really like the interaction with the train and the coaster, and that was kind of designed on purpose. I had that in mind. And as I said, I've just done the fencing along here. This is actually inspired by the Galactica area at Alton Towers, in the sense that the queue goes up along the top of the hill and back again, and this is the kind of fencing you've got, and I quite like the fences like this. So yeah, just fencing off the actual flume area with the coaster area, and then call that done. So the other bits that I need to do, obviously I haven't done the station interior, so I need to do the station interior. I just need to work out how this is going to properly connect up to here, and then I just need to work out what piratey type stuff I'm going to put in the middle. Then of course we've got the final bit, which is the keep. So I quite like this actually. This was the first thing that I put in. This was the whole reason for me ditching the pre-middle part, because I was like, oh, this is what I'm thinking for the building, and then I was actually like, I need to explain it by pulling the building together, and by the time I got there it was too far. So anyway, this is the Photoshop. The actual unit is already in, the screens are already in, but the camera at the moment isn't, because I don't really know where the camera is going to be. But I just wanted to have the idea of the driftwood. No, it's not driftwood, is it? Was it the shipwreck stuff? And it's actually really good if you panel all the shipwreck stuff together. You can create long planks with it. And then I have just put the stucco in and also the lime plaster behind it just to give it a little bit of texture. And I like it. It's cute. I'm going to put some stuff on the top here just to make it pirate. And I think just like last episode, it's the pirate stuff that's going to bring it all together, isn't it? So yeah, there you go. That's how it's looking from the top then. I had better get this finished. I will see you in a minute. Oh yes, I absolutely love how this has come together, but guys, I need to put a pin in it because I get to go and see dinosaurs in London tomorrow. I'm going to go and see Jurassic World Evolution 3 at a special Frontier event, and that's not under embargo. There is no embargo. I can tell you all about it, but I'm going to need time to do videos, so that means the Done For Now stamp has come out for this piece of work because I want to get this video out on the day that I go. So yeah, watch this space. This is the whole thing then, and I love this queue line. There is just something about this queue line that I don't know what it is. I think it's because it feels a little bit like Nemesis Inferno's queue line, so therefore it just feels right. I haven't taken direct inspiration from it, but just the way that the guests are moving through the queue, and actually the sheer number of guests we've got in the queue, that's a bit ridiculous. But it just has a vibe, it just has a feel to it, and I'm here for it. I love it. So yes, although talking of vibes, this building, I don't love it and I don't hate it. So do you remember in the last episode we were talking about this dead space over here with the pirate ship. Thank you for all of your suggestions for this dead space, by the way. I have tried them all and none of them worked. And I think we have a similar issue here. This trim here, this is a design choice to have it yellow and white. And I've tried all sorts of colours. I've tried it consistent colours. I've tried them different colours. All sorts. There's just something about it that just doesn't work. But do you know what? I don't want to fight with it. There's something and I don't know what it is. So guys, if you know, let me know in the comments please, because it might be something that I don't even realise. It might be the colours of the windows are wrong, or the roof is wrong, and there's just something conflicting. My design eye just can't ratify it, and I don't know what it is. But anyway, I like the style of the building, I like the shape of the building, I like how it's come together. There's just something off about it, and I don't know what it is. But anyway, this is the market bit down here. I've just put in some extra pathing and stuff just to make it all make sense, and I quite like it. It's yeah, it's cool. And this idea of the cliff face, the hill and whatever, it's alright. I didn't want to put a tree in. Again, this is the whole dead space thing. I had trees in and it was obscuring the view and stuff. So I've taken them out and I've actually just had it as shrubbery, and I like it. I like it like this. And then, of course, you've got the little pirate annex bit. So most of these types of buildings would have had some kind of smuggler's building attached to it, and that's exactly what this is. So if you can imagine that this would all be water and stuff in like the pirate land, and the boats would come in here and they would then sneak all of the stuff around the back through this little shed. So that's the idea of that. And then down here, it's just a nice little pit. I've just used some terrain painting and stuff just to give it a little bit of wear and tear, but again, it's just lots of foliage. This is one of those episodes again where foliage has made it come to life, and I don't hate that. Then this is the fort. I kept it really simple in the end. I didn't really want to do much more than that because the coaster does the talking, as you've just seen. So the fact that the coaster comes into the corkscrew over the lift hill and stuff, yeah, I'm alright. Like the layout to start with, I wasn't entirely sure about, but now I've actually put it all together. It now sort of all seems to make sense. So I'm happy with that. An extra tower just to bring this corkscrew bit to life, and it's called done. And then of course this bit down here by the bridge. This is also just terrain paint and rock work and stuff, and then I have also just put loads of shrubbery, and I have used the elephant grass for this because I wanted a lot of bulk, I wanted a lot of stuff, I wanted it to feel rich, because I wanted it to sort of hide this area. What's brilliant about this path, by the way, now it's in, so if we go down that way, there you go, the path is now in. This is actually opened up a future development area that would be, I think, pretty awesome for something major. It's this one here. Yeah, I mean, I have big grand plans for this area, and I can't tell you because this is the stuff that I saw at Frontier, but I've got big grand plans say that when you're drunk for that area. So yes, I'm excited for that. I can't wait. So anyway, inside the station, oh, I didn't do the railings, by the way. I looked at a couple of inspiration images, especially from the 90s. Don't need it. Well, you do need it in modern day. You need it. From the 90s when this would have been put in, not so much. And if I'm honest, this entire coaster is actually on the hit list anyway. This is one of those Arrow coasters that probably would be torn down by now, 2025, and replaced with something different. So that actually means that we've got a slightly bigger area to work with, really, haven't we? So yeah, I don't want to be making too much effort with something that I'm going to tear apart. But anyway, I love this building. This one brick, oh yes, it's perfect. Now I'm not going for destroyed building. I'm not going for poorly kept. I'm not going for poor maintenance. I'm going for architecturally sound, architecturally designed. It was deliberately designed that way. So that's why we've got the broken brick, and that's also why I've used the broken brick on the front here as well, because I wanted it to feel like it was a worn building, you know, like storm worn, because it would be on a cliff face and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm going for there. So where else have we got? So this is the little food unit. I don't want it to be any more than this, and it doesn't need to be any more than this. The idea here was it was just supposed to be one of those shacks that just exists. Not high detail, not high design, not high fidelity, if you like. Just there, done, dusted. see you later. A couple of picnic benches and whatever just to line it off. And then I have used the string lighting in the pirate set just along here just to give it a little bit of personality. I didn't really want to do too much else in the queue line for the log flume, but I have just put some extra trees and stuff in. So in terms of the coaster area, then yeah, you can see some customer supports. Some of you may be slightly disappointed that I've decided to not do the lattice work on the lift hill. A couple of reasons for that. Track and Fire didn't. So when you design a roller coaster, the little known fact is that the manufacturer of the roller coaster doesn't always do the supports. They sometimes outsource it to a structural engineer, and the structural engineer will then come up with the support structure and the support mechanism. The manufacturers will have a recommended support mechanism, a support structure. So for example, Arrow and Vekoma would come along and say, yeah, you'd want the lattice, etc. on here, but we're not an earthquake zone, so we don't need to worry so much about that. And that means then when you outsource it to your structural engineers, they can come up with stuff like this. That also means, by the way, they come up with stuff like this and also stuff like this, particularly where you've got this little problem to solve, where you can't have your usual 45-degree bracing support here because you're actually going through the railway line. So you end up having something a little bit more like this, where all of the forces are taken down 4 different ways as long as it's supported elsewhere. So yes, there you go. That's today's lesson. In terms of the theme and stuff around the ride, I have just put the pirate ship in here, so you do go through the pirate ship into the Cobra Roll, and then you come through and down underneath some rocks with the skull. Now, I did definitely want to put something in here to ease off the idea that it's a sheer drop. So if you did happen to end up in the ride area, it's not so bad because it's not a sheer drop. It's not like a pit like Nemesis is, although Nemesis sets the precedent for what you can do in that kind of arena. It's a massive pit and you could quite easily fall in it if you were so inclined, but please don't do that. So the rest of the log flume, I got a bit lazy and I got a bit like, I need to put a pin in this because I'm off to see dinosaurs, so I put a couple of ships down. And that's it for now. I'll come back and I'll do some work, no doubt. But what I wanted to do is make sure the area felt right with the coaster weaving through and making sure that the foliage did the speaking rather than the actual theming itself, because the theming is down in this little pirate area. Look at this queue. I love it. Oh, I love seeing queues in a game like this. It's just, oh, yes. I don't know, there's just something about it. Anyway, there's the little turret that I added in. It did feel, when I was putting all of this together, it felt like it was a bit out of place. It felt like it just sort of sat on its own. But now, in the context of everything, it all actually makes sense, and I love it. And you can see guests are actually using it, and it's all lined up and stuff. I don't know what's going on with this one. For some reason, the camera takes the picture for the last car. Anyway, whatever. We see that in real life. Spinball Whizz's ride photos used to be an absolute mess. So there you go, guys. That's how we are sitting from the top of the pirate area. I think we can call the pirate area done. What this does do, by the way, is it opens up a development opportunity in this space. So I think the next episode is going to be one of those short ones, you know, where I just add a flat ride, particularly because I've got dinosaurs to go and see. Have I told you? So to keep the series going, I might just do a flat ride. But anyway, this is the pirate area, and I love it. I am so here for it. I think it's probably my favourite pirate area I've done. Yeah, that's saying something. So there you go. Thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. I do appreciate it. As always, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. Have a good week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.